It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Houston Astros. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Saturday night to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers and Astros in Game 3 of the 4-game series, and it's really been all Houston. Not only have they won the first 2 games, but they're making it a habit. They've beaten the Dodgers 4 out of 5. They've won 7 of the last 9 that they've played here at Dodger Stadium. And as far as the Astros are concerned, 3 games behind St. Louis, but they're in the wrong division. When they play the Western Division, they are 18-7. The Dodgers, meanwhile, thrilled that they're in the Western Division. They beat up the West 30-13. However, the Dodgers in the Central Division, playing a club like Houston, they are 5-7. So it's the Dodgers and the Astros. Clayton Kershaw against Mike Hampton. One other bulletin. Monday night, Jason Schmidt will pitch for the Dodgers against Cincinnati. We'll get to the ball game right after this.
All-Star break, and they are yet to win. That takes us to our Lexus pursuing perfection. How good was Roy Oswalt last night for Houston? He goes 9 innings, allows just 4 hits, 1 run, strikes out 5, does not walk a guy, and throws just 105 pitches, and booking his 3rd complete game of the year. He is now 64-1 when posted a 6-run lead. Jim Watson, Steve Lyons in center field. We'll get you to the ball game in just a second. Joe Torre tweaking his lineup just a little bit. Good move?
Well, I think that he can do that because he's got the lead, and you want to get Juan Pierre some playing time. I'm not necessarily sold on Juan Pierre hitting 9th. I mean, this is a guy who's hitting 322 for you. When he was in the ball games replacing Manny Ramirez, he did a great job as your leadoff hitter. Why not hit him leadoff? That's where he's most effective, and he's probably got the best batting average of anyone on the team right now.
Dodgers have not lost 3 games in a row all year long. Only team in Major League Baseball to do that. And also, the Dodgers have not lost 3 in a row at home in more than a year. Is this club struggling right now, or is this just what happens during the course of a season?
I think both. You know, obviously, if you lose a couple games in a row and you're struggling, you haven't scored any runs, you score 1 run in 2 games, that's scuffling a little bit, but it's no time to really worry that much about it that you think you're going to be a last-place team in 2 weeks. They just have to step it back up. You know, a couple years ago, what was it, Grady Little said, I didn't think the All-Star break was going to last 20 games because they came out after the All-Star break and just stunk it up for a while. That's not going to happen this year.
Change the pregame meal, maybe throw the bats around to wake them up a little
why
bit.
not? Someone get mad.
Get some hits out of
Snap, break a helmet somewhere.
Meet you back here after the final out for all the post-game sound and analysis. We'll talk about middle relief help. Clayton Kershaw, 4-0 in his last 6 starts, and each time he has gone to the bump, the Dodgers have won. See you after the game. Enjoy it.
Aflac, we've got you under our wing. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Saturday night, wherever you might be. Years ago, there was an old song about Saturday night as the loneliest night of the week. But come share a couple of hours with us here at Dodger Stadium. Guaranteed you'll have some fun on Joe Torre's 69th birthday. And of all the things, I'm sure, with his wife and Allie and his daughter Andrea and friends and family here. Happy birthday, Dad, and to Uncle Joe. So for Torre, turning 69 today, born in the borough of Churches in Brooklyn, New York. And Joe wants a victory badly because the Dodgers, as you probably know, are still the only team in the major leagues not to have lost 3 in a row. And they've lost their first 2 games of the series to the red-hot Houston Astros. Talking about the Astros, here's Cecil Cooper's lineup tonight. Kazuo Matsui leads off with Jeff Keppinger back at third base and Miguel Tejada at short. Carlos Lee, a little banged up with a bruised knee, is in left field. Hunter Pence will be in right field. Chris Coast will be at first base. Lance Berkman is still down with a strained left calf. Jason Michaels goes into center field to replace Michael Bourne with a left-hand pitcher on the mound. Humberto Quintero, the catcher, has a tough act to follow. Ivan Rodriguez went 4 for 5 last night. Quintero did hit his first home run of the year in Game 1. On the mound for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw, the 21-year-old, unbeaten in his last 6 starts. He's gone 4-0 with an unbelievable earned run average of less than 1. in 2 starts against Houston in his young career. Last time up, he was roughed up back in April, and his record is 0-1 in his career against the Texans. He has won each of his last 5 road starts. He is 3rd in the major leagues with a brilliant ERA at home of 1.8. And in his game at Houston, he went 4 1/3 innings, and they pushed him around for a half a dozen runs. So Clayton Kershaw going up against a very tough Houston Astro ball club that is 18-7 against Western Division teams. The problem is they're in the Central Division, so you could say that they're in the wrong division and they're trying to get well. With the Dodgers with the leather, here they are behind Kershaw with Ramirez, Pierre, and Kemp in the outfield. Blake, Furcal, Hudson, and Loretta on the infield, and the battery of Kershaw and Martin. So here come the Astros. They've won 3 straight, 6 out of 7, 8 of their last 10. They've won 5 straight at Dodger Stadium and 7 of the last 9. So from a 500 ball club, they're trying to turn the year around. And Kazuo Matsui takes a pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Matsui, switch hitter, batting right-handed, swings, fouls it back. He had 2 base hits last night, so Kazuo is hitting in 8 straight and putting on a good offensive show. Of course, when you talk about offense, you certainly look at the other man at the other side of second base, Miguel Tejada. Strike 2 pitch on the way, and Kershaw's fastball is high. 1-2 the count. Gorgeous summer's evening, temperature 79 degrees as Kershaw looks over the fingertips of his glove and comes back 1-2 with a fastball very high, and the count 2-2. Matsui with 2 hits last night, and he has multiple hits in 4 straight games. The 2-2 pitch coming up. Kershaw delivers and is hacked foul off to the right out of play. Also, Matsui has reached base safely either by hit or walk 10 straight games and 20 of his last 26. He had an 8-gamer last year, and he's working on 8 straight right now. The 2-2 pitch coming up to the boy from Osaka is off speed and high, and 3-2 the pitch. Though a curveball in the low 70s, didn't have much of a hump to it. And Matsui waiting on deck. Jeff Keppinger, the third baseman. 3-2 fastball is fouled away, and Matsui just trying to stay alive up there at the plate. He has only struck out 44 times this year, and he's making Kershaw work. So Clayton with a record of 7-5 coming into the game. 4 straight plus 2 no decisions, and Matsui fouls another one back. So Matsui had a 4-pitch at bat, his first time up last night against Chad Billingsley, but now he's really worked deep into the count. And the 3-2 pitch coming up. Kershaw fires fastball, hits slowly to short. Furcal throws on the run and gets him. So Kazuo Matsui is out, batting right-handed. Had he been hitting left-handed, he might have legged that out. Good play by Furcal, and with 1 away, Jeff Keppinger will be coming up. Keppinger went 0 for 3 with a walk in game 1. Did not play last night. Jeff Blum, the switch hitter, played third. So Keppinger waiting, and Kershaw delivers. Fastball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Keppinger, one of those fellows who is doing very well on the road. Overall batting average 268, takes a hook low, but he's hitting .328 on the road. So Jeff waiting at the plate. 0 for 3 in the first game. Against left-handers, hitting .328, backs off on a pitch that misses, and a 2-1 count to Keppinger. Hitting back of him, Miguel Tejada. Ground ball to the hole by the diving Blake, under the glove of Furcal and on through into left field. So Keppinger, A ground ball single into left field. So he continues his torrid hitting against left-handers and on the road. And talking about torrid hitting, here comes Miguel Tejada. The Keppinger just found the hole by Blake, by Furcal, and that gives Tejada something to shoot at. Miguel Tejada has hit in 10 straight. He had a home run and a single last night. He had one hit and was robbed of 3 other hits Friday night. So Tejada batting .329, 8 home runs, 50 runs batted in. Tejada and Ivan Rodriguez working very, very hard to play the entire year. He's 35 years old, Rodriguez 38, and promptly fouls it away upstairs out of play. 0-1 the count to Miguel. Tejada had a long streak. He had played in 1,152 consecutive games, and the streak ended in July 2 years ago. He was hit by a pitcher who's now his teammate, Doug Brocail. Kershaw ready, and the pitch to Tejada. A broken bat and a foul ball caught by Mark Loretta, with Russell Martin standing watching him come down the line. So Tejada fouling out to Loretta, and Carlos Lee will be coming up. So that bat just came apart, and for Tejada, a foul ball, and down he goes. Carlos Lee fouled one off his left knee last night. Finally came out, and Jason Michael finished the game in left field, but Lee is right back in the action tonight. Carlos had one hit last night in 4 at-bats, hitting .307. Kershaw set, ready, deals, fastball, and that's popped up into shallow right field. Orlando Hudson goes out calling and makes the catch for the out. A little tricky too, as Matt Kemp goes running by. No runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of half an inning, Astros nothing, Dodgers coming up. Clayton Kershaw made 16 pitches in the first inning. He made 9 to Kazuo Matsui leading off. Then he settled in, gave up 1 hit. And as he visits with Russell Martin, we'll take a look at the Dodger lineup, which shapes up this way. Furcal followed by Hudson and Ramirez. Blake and Kemp in right field. Mark Loretta taking over at first base. James Loney gets a well-deserved rest. Russell Martin behind the plate. Clayton Kershaw is batting 8th, and Joe Torre has done that before. And Juan Pierre plays center field and bats 9th. Boy, it has been a long time since we have seen Mike Hampton. The last time we saw Mike Hampton pitch was 4 years ago. He was then with the Braves. And here's the left-hander ready to go to work now on Rafael Furcal. Hampton's first pitch is in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Mike Hampton will be 37 in September. born in Florida, lives in Texas now, but grew up in Florida. Furcal takes a pitch at his feet, 1 ball and 1 strike. Couple of notes about Mike Hampton. Number one, he was walking when he was 8 months old. If you have children, you will take a pause to think about that. Walking at 8 months. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. The left-hander deals off the plate. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. When he was 5 years old, he was separated from his age group and he was put with 8-year-olds because he just threw too hard. And he was throwing very hard when he first signed almost 20 years ago. 2-1 pitch, a chopper inside third, down the line. Over to get it is Carlos Lee, and Rafael will hold on with a single to left field. So Furcal opens up with a base hit, and the batter now will be Orlando Hudson. Keppinger was playing up in the event of a bunt, so that cut down his range, and that base hit went by quickly. So Rafael Furcal at first, opening up the ball game. He has stolen 5, but he's been caught 4. And here's Orlando Hudson batting .289, 7 home runs, 48 runs batted in. Hampton set at the belt, looks over at Furcal, now comes to the plate, and the fastball is hit in the air to left field. It gets by the diving Carlos Lee. Here comes Rafael Furcal around third to score. Here goes Hudson into third with a triple, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. Last night, Orlando Hudson hit a fly ball to right field, and Hunter Pence lost it. This time he hits a drive in left field, and Carlos Lee tries to meet it head on and comes up empty. But not only comes up empty, making a dive to backhand the ball cost them a run and set up another with a runner at third. So a poor play by Carlos Lee, and the Dodgers take advantage of it. And now Manny Ramirez, who has had more trouble against Mike Hampton than any other left-hander, I think, in his career. Ramirez is 2 for 11 and takes a pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. So it's 1-0 Dodgers. Hudson with his second triple in 2 days. And Hudson waiting to be picked up. Right side of the infield halfway, left side back, normal depth. Outfield deep, and Hampton delivers, and this one is low. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ramirez. So Hampton, a victim of tough luck. It should be runners at first and second, or maybe first at third, but a poor defensive play by Carlos Lee has hurt him right at the outset. The 1-1 pitch on the well, hard ground ball to third, and Keppinger stays with it to throw him out. Hudson had nowhere to go and was anchored at the bag. So Ramirez grounding out, and for Manny, it has been a tough 3 games. 0 for 4 last night, 1 for 4 the game before. So he is 1 for 9 as Casey Blake checks in. Casey hitting .285, 12 home runs, 55 runs batted in. With the big hitters at the plate for the Dodgers, interesting note about Hampton, and his first pitch is low. He has not allowed a home run in his last 35 innings. That covers 5 starts, plus so far tonight. 8-7 in his career against the Dodgers, but he has won 3 of his last 4 decisions against them, going way back. The 1-0 pitch on the way, and Blake takes in the dirt. It squirts away from Quintero, but not far enough for Hudson to come, especially with only 1 out. So a nice save by Humberto Quintero. Hudson started down the line and then gets back to the bag. 2-0 the count. Dodgers lead 1-0 here in the first inning. Hudson got a fly ball lost in the sky triple last night, and got a triple that was a single that got away from Carlos Lee. Now the 2-0 pitch on the way to Blake, and that's in the dirt and low. Another nice save by Quintero, and a 3-0 count. One slider after another Hampton, way back when, threw very, very hard. So hard that 9 years ago, you may remember, he signed an 8-year deal for over $120 million with the Rockies. The pitch to Blake intentionally thrown outside the zone, though it is an intentional walk. And in a moment, Matt Kemp will be coming up.
Right fielder, number 27.
So Mike Hampton, the son of a commercial fisherman, trying to get the Dodgers to hook them out of the inning. They have runners at first and third, one away, and here is Matt Kemp playing right field tonight. So Juan Pierre rested Kemp last night. Pierre rests Andre Ethier tonight. Hampton out of a stretch, checking the runners at the corners. Mike ready and delivers, and the first pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. And you look at some of the Dodgers, the younger players, as we mentioned, we haven't seen Hampton in 4 years. The people like Kemp and Ethier, etc., they've never seen him before. Mike out of a stretch, and the strike one pitch on the way, and a sinking fastball low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Homosassa, Florida. That's where Mike Hampton grew up. He idolized Kirk Gibson, whom he used to watch in spring training games at Lakeland, and he has a Gibson autograph on a broken bat. 1-1 pitch is swung on and fouled away outside of third. 1-2 the count. So Matt Kemp hitting .316, 11 home runs, 50 runs batted in. Hitting back of him is Mark Loretta. Orlando Hudson at third, Casey Blake at first, 1 out in the first inning. Hampton, who had the nickname Bulldog, he was that much of a competitor and still is. And the 1-2 pitch is a line drive base hit to left field. Hudson will score. Stopping at second is Blake, and the Dodgers now lead 2-0 in the first inning. Dodgers losing the first game 3-0, losing last night early 8-1. So tonight they get the jump on the Astros. And that was one of the points we were trying to make about an Astro team that is trying to come back. When they have Roy Oswalt and Wandy Rodriguez, that's a tremendous 1-2 punch. Hampton's first pitch now is a strike, 0-1. However, besides Oswalt and Rodriguez, the quality really falls off with Hampton and Ortiz. 0-1 the count. Out of a stretch goes Hampton. The left-hander delivers, and this one's on the outside corner. 0-2 the count to Mark Loretta, hitting .241 and playing first base for James Loney. Loretta's been around long enough to have batted against Hampton, and he has great numbers. He's hitting .364 with 16 hits against Hampton. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way. Mike delivers off the plate. 1-2 the count. Hampton as a Bulldog, well, to give you an idea, a few years ago he was suspended 5 games and fined for throwing at Randy Johnson. Why did he throw at the big unit? Because Johnson had hit Larry Walker, his teammate. 1-2 pitch on the way is low and inside, 2-2. It was no accident because Johnson had nailed Walker about 2 weeks before. So Hampton took exception to it. Basically a cutter, which is his big pitch, a sinking fastball that doesn't sink nearly as much as he'd like, and a pretty good changeup. So 2-0 in favor of the Dodgers. First inning, 1 out. 2-2 the count to Mark Loretta, and Russell Martin out on deck. Hampton delivers, and that's hit foul off to the right out of play, and it's still 2-2. Mike Hampton, who was signed in 1990 before Loretta was playing for sure, and he came up to the Astros in 1994. He spent 6 years with the Astros, 1 with the Mets, 2 with the Rockies, 3, then 4 with the Braves. twice with the Braves, and now back to the Astros, and the pitch very high. 3-2 the count. So Mike Hampton struggling. A few years ago he really got depressing, and it might very well have been because of that huge contract we mentioned a little while ago. Red Ausmus said that he was telegraphing his slider and he was having all kinds of problems. 3-2 pitch. The runners go, and it is swung on and missed. Throw to third and nailed there easily is Casey Blake, and that's the inning. However, the Dodgers strike quickly and get 2, and at the end of an inning, Dodgers 2, Astros nothing. Pitches in the first inning, gave up 2 runs, victim of a poor play by Carlos Lee in left field, and the Dodgers took advantage of it. That is one of many Dodger trademarks this year, their ability to score in the first inning and to prevent the opposition from scoring. In the first inning this year, the Dodgers have scored 72 runs and the opposition only 33. Hunter Pence will start it off. Big gangling right fielder, takes high, ball 1. Pence is 6'4", 220. Despite the fact he chokes up on the bat, he had 25 home runs last year, and he has 11 so far this year. Fouls a pitch back, and the count 1-1. Hunter Pence, among other things, has done exceptionally well against left-hand pitching, hitting .329 against left-handers. Went to school at the University of Texas in Arlington. Takes a breaking ball low and inside. 2-1 to Hunter Pence. 6'4", 220, only 26 years old. 3rd year with the Astros. Now the 2-1 pitch to Hunter. Swung on, a fly ball to left center, and moving over to his left is Manny, waiting, and makes the catch. So Pence, fly ball to left, 1 down. And the batter will be Chris Coast.
For the Astros, first baseman, number 41, Chris Coast.
So Chris Coast playing first base, and of course for the Astros, they are severely limited offensively without Lance Berkman. I mean, Berkman is the machinery that makes the ball club move, and he's out with that strained left calf. Coast takes a pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Chris is out of Moorhead, Minnesota, and now lives in Fargo, North Dakota. So he's something to talk about with his teammate Darren Erstad. Fouls it away, and the count 0-2. As Erstad takes in the ball game, Fargo, North Dakota was where Roger Maris grew up, and Moorhead, Minnesota is not that far away from Fargo. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way is swung on and fouled off, and it's still 0-2. Concordia College. That's where Coast went to school. That's right on the North Dakota state border. Originally drafted by the Indians. And he promptly grounds one foul back of third base coach Dave Clark. 0-2 the count to Chris Coast. Dave, who was with the Dodgers briefly back in 1996. Now the third base coach, and of course one of the great Astro players of all time over at first. That would be Jose Cruz. The strike 2 pitch. Coast takes up and away. Chris 6'1", 205-pounder, only 26. Came up to the Phillies in 2006. Slices one foul and was with the Phillies at the start of the year before moving over to the Houston Astros. Coast wrote a book back in 1998. Even though he's playing first base, he is basically a catcher. The 1-2 pitch, off speed and high. The title of the book, Hey, I'm Just the Catcher. I don't know how well it sold. He wrote that about the 1996 season when he was in the minor leagues with the Fargo Red Hawks, and he hits one towards the gap, but it's slicing and coming up to make the catches count. So we have 2 down in the second inning, and the batter will be Jason Michaels. You know, July 25th, sports and entertainment collide on the field at Dodger Stadium with the Hollywood Stars softball game presented by Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Enjoy softball at 5, followed by the Dodgers and Marlins at 7:10. For tickets, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com/Hollywood. Jason Michaels at the plate, and he takes ball 1. He finished up the game the other night for Carlos Lee. Jason from Florida fouls a pitch back, 1-1. Michaels went to the University of Miami. 33 years old. And like Coast, he was a member of the Phillies. He was drafted by the Phillies. Jason waits and takes a strike on the corner, hitting just 173 with a home run and 6 runs batted in. With a left-hander going, Michael Bourne sits this one down. The 1-2 pitch on the way, and Michaels takes inside. 2-2. So without Lance Berkman, without Ivan Rodriguez behind the plate, without Michael Bourne, it is a team that does not figure to score too many runs, so we will see. 2-2 pitch is swung on, fouled away. 2-0 Dodgers. We're in the second inning. For call single to left, Hudson lined a single to left, misplayed by Carlos Lee, tried to backhand it and go into a slide, came up empty. So for call scored, Hudson given a triple, and he came home on a base hit by Kemp. A ball hit right to Orlando Hudson, and that's the inning. 1-2-3 for the Astros, and at the inning and a half, Dodgers 2, Houston nothing. 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. And Mike Hampton getting ready to pitch to Russell Martin, Clayton Kershaw, and Juan Pierre. Well, the kids are here with us tonight. Hope you meet your plans. Maybe bring the family tomorrow afternoon. That'll be the final game of this 4-game series. Russ Ortiz and Hiroki Kuroda. So Martin checks in. Mike Hampton into the windup. Left-handed deals and gets ahead with a strike, and they count 0-1. Martin hitting .256. Joe Torre talking about Martin, saying that his at-bats have been more consistent. And they think right now he's about as level as he's been in a while as he grounds one foul outside of third. So 0-2 the count to Russell Martin against Mike Hampton. Martin with 2 home runs, 28 runs batted in, and hitting well over 300 in his last 10 games. Hampton into the windup, and Mike's 2-strike pitch is outside, ball 1. When they asked Hampton, what would you be doing if you had your druthers and you were not a baseball player? And Mike said he'd like to be a football defensive back in the NFL. Takes outside. He had several college football scholarship offers coming out of high school. He was a defensive back, and he got offers from Notre Dame and the University of Alabama, among others. But he opted to go pro in baseball. 2-2 pitch is stroked into left field. The Russell Martin, a single to left to get the Dodgers started in the second inning. For the Dodgers now 4 hits in 1 inning plus, and the batter is Clayton Kershaw. Remember, the Dodgers are batting Kershaw 8th and Juan Pierre 9th. So Kershaw checks in. Pierre and Torre had a meeting before the game, and apparently Pierre thought it was a good idea. So once you get Kershaw out of the way, you have Pierre and Furcal back to back. 2-0 Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw has 1 sacrifice. He does have 4 hits. Clayton shows bunt. Hampton ready and deals. Fastball foul back, and a no ball 1-strike count. Larry Boa checking with Joe Torre to see if the bunt is still on. Of course, it's the old story. You say he's checking with Joe Torre, but it could be somebody else actually giving the sign, being directed to do so by Torre. 0-1. Again, Kershaw tries to bunt, fouls it back, and the count 0-2. One of the things with Mike Hampton in the middle of the diamond, you have a Gold Glove defensive pitcher. He won his first Gold Glove back in '03, and that broke Greg Maddox's string of 13 straight Gold Gloves. So he can still handle his position. Strike 2 pitch to Kershaw. Bunted foul, and he is struck out. So Clayton goes down trying to bunt. That'll be the second strikeout for Mike Hampton, and the batter will be Juan Pierre. One of the nicest moments of the year, I think, was Friday night when Juan Pierre was introduced coming up to the plate and got a standing ovation from the crowd. Pierre, as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning, had to be emotionally touched, and now gets another start, back-to-back games. Juan hitting .322. Hampton delivers and flips it in for a strike, and they count 0-1. Pierre hitting .343 against Mike Hampton. Juan a long look at Larry Boa, now back up. 0-1 the count. Hampton set, looks over at first. Martin a short lead. Strike 1 pitch, ground ball to the right side. Matsui goes to Tejada. Tejada back to first in time, and they get the double play. For Pierre, only the 7th double play into which he has hit. And at the end of 2, Dodgers 2, Astros nothing. leading the Astros 2-0. It'll be Quintero, Hampton, and Matsui going up against Clayton Kershaw. A reminder, tomorrow the final game of the 4-game series. Russ Ortiz, Hiroki Kuroda. Then the Reds will be here starting Monday night, and the Dodgers made somewhat of a surprise announcement before tonight's game. Jason Schmidt will pitch Monday night against the Reds, and they will be on a pitch count, maybe 100. It will be very interesting to see about Jason's comeback attempt, and it'll be against the Reds. Humberto Quintero, right-hand hitting catcher, starts it off. Kershaw delivers, and he's outside with the first pitch. Quintero homered in the 5th inning against Randy Wolf, his first home run of the year the other night. Hitting .247. The 1-0 pitch is swung on and fouled back. One of the best hitters, perhaps as a pitcher, that ever played this game is on deck. That's Mike Hampton. Tell you about his hitting prowess. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Quintero, and that's a hook in for a strike. 1-2. 10 years ago, Mike Hampton hit .311. 10 years ago, he was the first pitcher to win 20 games and hit over 300. Pitch is high. The previous pitcher to do that was Catfish Hunter for the Oakland A's in 1971. And 10 years ago, he was the first major league pitcher to collect 3 triples in a season. Pitch is foul back. It's still 2-2. I realize we're saying 10 years ago, and of course that's the point. But he was an exceptional hitter. He also tied Don Drysdale and Don Newcomb for most home runs by a National League pitcher, half a dozen. Ground ball back a third. Long throw by Casey Blake is on the money, and that takes care of Quintero. So 1 out, and here comes Mike Hampton.
Pitcher number 11.
6 years ago, Hampton was a winner of the Silver Slugger Award for the 5th time. He has a career batting average of .241, and he's hit 15 home runs in his career. Swings, doesn't get it, and the count 0-1. What have the years done to him? Well, they've treated him kindly. He comes into this game hitting .333. Same old Hampton. Strike 1 pitch on the way, waved at and missed. Fastball out of the zone. 0-2 the count. When Hampton first came up to the big leagues, he was probably as fast a runner as there was in the game. And down he goes again on a pitch up. So Kershaw made that look easy as he takes care of Hampton with 3 pitches. Strikeout number 1. And with 2 down here in the third, 2-0 Dodgers. Kazuo Matsui. As a leadoff man, he put on a little bit of a show. It took 9 pitches to get him as he grounded out to shortstop. Though the man from Osaka waiting at the plate. Switch hitter batting right-handed and takes outside. Ball 1. Dodgers 2 runs, 4 hits. Astros no runs, 1 hit. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way to Matsui, and that's high. 2-0. Jeff Keppinger, who has the base hit for the Astros, on deck. A year ago, the Astros pulled a Silky Sullivan in the sense they were 16 games back of the Cubs and went to the whip. The 2-0 pitch is a strike. They were 14-1 from the 27th of August to the 11th of September. They cut the Cubs lead from 16 to 8.5. Then they got unlucky. The next pitch is high, ball 3. Hurricane Ike screwed up their schedule. They lost a home series with the Cubs. They moved that to Milwaukee, and they proceeded to lose 5 straight, and it was gone with the wind. Next pitch swung on and missed. 3-2. Well, this year the Astros began 19-29. They were 9.5 games back of the Cardinals. They've turned around. They've won 27 and lost 15 to cut the lead to 3. Matsui swings and misses. Down he goes. Kershaw picks up his second strikeout. He is now retired 8 in a row. And at the end of 2.5 innings, 2-0 Dodgers.
For call.
2-0 Dodgers, bottom of the third on Joe Torre's 69th birthday. Before the game, Joe was saying, I'm assuming I'll manage next year. I have a contract, and I've never been one not to fulfill my contract. If I don't feel I'm up to it, I don't think I'd manage just for the sake of managing or just to get paid. So that's my plan. And the first pitch in there for a strike. As Rafael Furcal, who led off with a single and scored, starts things in the third. 2-0 Dodgers, bottom of the third. Giants lost again. Another excellent, well-pitched game down the drain. Furcal takes outside, 1-1. The Giants, with any kind of hitting at all, would be 3 back. Instead, they're 6.5 back and could fall to 7.5. They lost in 14 innings last night, 2-1, and the Giants lost 2-0 today. As Furcal, it's a fly ball to center, and we have 1 out in the third. You know, kids can train for the big leagues on the field at Dodger Stadium during the next Junior Dodger Training Day, July 22nd. Children 7 to 12 learn baseball skills from coaches and players and receive a free Dodger jersey. To book your spot, visit Dodgers.com/Junior Dodgers or call 323-224-2646. Orlando Hudson at the plate. He has a look at a strike and the count 0-1. Hudson hit a line drive single to left field, and Carlos Lee played it into a triple. And that scored 1 run and led to the second. So it's 2-0 Dodgers. Strike 1 pitch on the way is high and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. When you look at the Giants, and you know they have good pitching, but they are not hitting at all, and certainly not scoring. The 1-1 pitch to Orlando Hudson is taken low. However, they still have 9 games to play with the Dodgers. Dodgers have a very slight edge against the Giants in the previous 9, 5-4. And another club trying to make some noise, the Rockies. They're 1-1 with the Padres in the 3rd inning. When you look at the Giants, they have 74 games left, 35 of them at home. They have an 11-game trip in August. That could be tough. And they have a 6-game road trip in September against Milwaukee and Philadelphia. Check swing, ground ball to Coast. Chris waves his pitcher away, and we have 2 down with Ramirez coming up. The only thing for the Giants, they're thinking if we can stay close enough. They have 6 home games with Arizona and San Diego. The Dodgers have a long road trip at the end of the year, Washington, Pittsburgh, and San Diego, before closing with Colorado. And of course, as you know, the Rockies are a totally different ball club under Jim Tracy. So here's Manny Ramirez, grounded out in the first inning. Big swing, fouls it away. 0-1 the count. Dodgers have certainly had their way against Colorado. They've beaten them 5 out of 6 here and 5 out of 6 in Denver. Probably one of the big reasons why they fired their skipper and hired Jim Tracy. 0-1 the count to Ramirez, hitting .338. Hampton into the windup. Mike delivers and gets it in there for a strike. Hampton has been so successful in the past against Manny Ramirez. We'll see how he does now. Ramirez 182 against Hampton is 4th lowest against a left-hand pitcher in his career, as he hits a big bouncer foul, and Manny grounded out in the first inning, so he's hitting less than 180 against Hampton. So the Bulldog, Mike Hampton, victim of a 2-run first inning, now has 2 quick outs and an 0-2 count to Ramirez. Mike leaves the ball in the glove, then reaches in to get it, goes to his windup, and the strike 2 pitch is low and inside. Ball 1. 1-2 the count. Hampton, over the years, certainly paying the physical price. A lot of problems, even this year in February. Breaking ball is grounded to first. Coast makes a good play, feeds Hampton coming over, and Ramirez is retired. So the Dodgers go 1-2-3, and at the end of 3, Dodgers 2, Astros nothing. Is unbeaten in the last 13 All-Star games. So the question tonight is, which league has won the most consecutive World Series ever? And probably baseball made a huge mistake, if you don't mind a personal opinion, made a big mistake in making the home field advantage the winner of the All-Star game. How in the world they ever decided that an exhibition game, and that is all that the All-Star game is, that an exhibition game would monkey up the treasure of a World Series. Amazing. Meanwhile, here's Jeff Keppinger, and the right-hand hitter. Ball 1, single to left field in the first inning. Keppinger, 29 years old, went to the University of Georgia. He was a big man on campus each year. At the university, he hit .365 or better. Hits one down the left field line, but it's hooking in the corner and going foul by a lot. He has 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. He has never hit many home runs in the big leagues. 5 would be his high, so he's having a big year right now. He had 5 and he had 3 previously with Cincinnati. Off speed pitch, and it stayed up. 2-1 the count to Keppinger. Ground ball to third. Casey Blake is on it. 1 away. So Keppinger, who is a rare hitter in the sense he walks more than he strikes out, and that is really amazing. Last year, 30 walks, 24 strikeouts. This year, 20 walks, 16 strikeouts. So he is truly a contact hitter. 1 away. And the batter, Miguel Tejada. Tejada broke his bat and fouled out to Mark Loretta in the first inning. An all-star each of the last 8 years and playing like an all-star in this series. Tejada was signed out of the Dominican Republic by Juan Marichal. That's a strike. Signed as a free agent by Marichal back in 1993. That's a strike. The Astro Media Guide lists Tejada's birthday as May of 1976. However, the Houston Chronicle reported that his green card, his driver's license, other legal papers say his actual birthday is 1974. 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled back, and they're now going with 1974. The mistake was last year. Quite a package wrapped up in a small box. He's only 5'9". He's had as many as 34 home runs, as many as 131 runs batted in. Tejada, 35 years old, and he wants to play every game between now and the end of the year. Nice block by Martin. 2 balls and 2 strikes. At 35, originally signed by the A's, signed in 95, and he was in the big leagues by 97. Great career with the A's and the Orioles. Now his 3rd year with Houston. And promptly hits it in the air to left, and it's going to be a rolling catch or no catch. No catch, and it'll be a base hit. What we had to do is look out into shallow center where Dale Scott went out to make the call. The man, he gives it his best shot. Good hustle by umpire Dale Scott too, because you can see on television, but with the naked eye sitting up in the grandstand, that would have been a very tough play, but Dale Scott was right out there to call it. So a single for Tejada. Nice try by Ramirez. And now Carlos Lee with 13 home runs and 49 runs batted in. And the pitch is low, ball 1. Carlos Lee, we mentioned it the other night, is a rancher. He has about 6,000 head of cattle, and he also had a bull named for Brad Ausmus at the World Brahma Bull Congress last year, and it won the award. And so what Carlos Lee did, he had the certificate framed, and he presented it to Brad Ausmus. The bull's name is Big Oz. 2-0 the count to Carlos Lee. Fastball is low, so Lee now with a 3-0 count, and with his power and the fact he's hitting 300, there is certainly nothing automatic. I would think he'd be green lighted if he gets a pitch that he feels he can really drive. Didn't like that at the knees, outside corner, 3-1. Lee has had as many as 32 home runs. He's hit that many a couple of times. Fastball line drive at Casey Blake, right on the screws and right at the third baseman. The Lee line drive out.
Right fielder number 9.
Dodgers certainly dodge a bullet there. And Hunter Pence coming up. Casey catching that, obviously, and watching him, might have had something in his eye. Hunter Pence flied to left field in the second inning. Dodgers 2, Astros nothing. 2 out, top of the fourth inning. Little breaking ball dips in at the last moment. Slider for a strike. 0-1 to Hunter Pence. Hunter Pence in his first year was leading the league at the All-Star break. He really made an impression. That year he hit .342. How did he finish up? He wound up hitting .322. That rookie year he hit 17 home runs. Last year he hit 25, and he has 11 so far this year. And the All-Star fouls it back. Still 0-2. Hunter had an older brother who pitched in the Padres organization, but for 3 years he never got out of Class A, and he decided baseball was not his future, and he's now in the oil business. Tejada at first, 2 out, fourth inning, 2-0 Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw trying to win his 8th, trying to balance his books and go 1-1 with the Astros. Foul ball, big curveball, still 0-2. So Martin and Kershaw, they figure to be together for a while, don't they? For Clayton Kershaw, in facing the Astros and looking at the few times he has faced them, Hunter Pence is 1 for 6. Tejada, however, is 4 for 8. And Carlos Lee, who lined out, came into the game 4 for 5 against him. May or may have been a strike, but it was a good fastball down and in. Hunter Pence comes up empty, and at the end of 3.5, 2-0 Dodgers. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Get the big deal today for just $2.99 plus tax. Choose a chicken sandwich or cheeseburger with 2 tacos and a 20-ounce drink. And by Verizon, America's largest mobile-to-mobile calling family. Beautiful evening here in Los Angeles. The Dodgers lead the Astros 2-0 in Game 3 of the 4-game series. Clayton Kershaw has allowed 2 hits, struck out 3, and has not allowed a runner get to second base. So in the 4th for the Dodgers, Blake, Kemp, and Loretta against Mike Hampton. That's a strike. For Hampton, he had a scare in February. Routine physical, turned up an irregular heartbeat. 1 ball and 1 strike. He underwent a procedure to correct the heartbeat. They use an electrical current, and he was back in camp a few days later. Then in June, he strained his groin, but he's back healthy, and here he is tonight. Line drive foul down the left field line. 1-2 to Casey, hitting .285. Was walked intentionally in the first inning. And being pretty consistent, 12 walks in his last 12 games. 1-2. Fastball missed. Hampton had one magnificent year, and I mean magnificent. That was in 1999 with the Astros. He was 22-4. Breaking ball, little cutter on the outside corner. They'll call it a curve, but he picked it up. So down goes Casey Blake. Remember the trivia question? You know, the American League has beaten the National League 13 straight in All-Star games. Which league has won the most consecutive World Series ever? And you are truly a historian. If you remember that the American League, with a lot of thanks from the Yankees, won 7 straight from 47 through 53. Little ground ball to the hole. Long throw by Tejada. And at 5'9", he can get it over there in a hurry. And down goes Matt Kemp. So quickly, 2 down here in the 4th. And Mark Loretta coming up. You know, since 1953, neither league has won more than 3 World Series in a row since the stretch of 1979-1982, when the National League won 4 straight. The 79 Pirates, the 80 Phillies, the 81 Dodgers, and the 82 Cardinals. That's a strike. 0-1 to Loretta. Struck out, runners were going, and Blake was nailed at third for a double play. 0-1 to Mark. A lot of hits against Hampton, but not this time. Fly ball to right. Pence has to go back to get it. So the Dodgers go 1-2-3. And we have 4 innings in the books. Hampton versus Kershaw, and it's 2-0 Dodgers. inning. Chris Coast followed by Jason Michaels and then Humberto Quintero against Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw coming off a 20-pitch fourth inning compared to Hampton, that had an 8-pitch fourth inning. But Kershaw's out in front. Coast flied to right field in the second inning. Dodgers figure to be in a tough battle. The Astros starting pitching has been wonderful for almost 3 weeks. Ball one. Starting pitching for the Astros over that stretch, 3.2. Wandy Rodriguez was magnificent, and then right-hander Roy Oswalt was even better. When you look at the combination, and we pointed it out last night, if you take Rodriguez and Oswalt in their 10 starts, the Astros are 9-1 over those 10 starts, and their combined, Rodriguez and Oswalt, would be 7-0. So they have a magnificent 1-2 combination. Coast hitting .238. 3-1 the count to Chris. Just thinking, they miss Lance Berkman. Berkman, however, just 1 for 5 against Kershaw this year. And there's ball 4 to Coast. For Clayton Kershaw, his first walk. You know, tomorrow you can head to the beach, Bleacher Beach at Dodger Stadium. Enjoy unlimited barbecue, a Dodgers floppy hat, and a private beach party presented by Bud Light. Party starts at 11:40. Purchase tickets, visit Dodgers.com/beach or call 866-DODGERS. Jason Michaels with a runner at first, nobody out, 5th inning, 2-0 Dodgers. Little foul ball. Loretta trying to get under it and makes the over-the-shoulder catch. Nice play. Mark, of course, doesn't start very many games and makes a very fine play as Michaels looks at him as if to say, how did you manage that? And just did avoid the fan. So 1 out, another look, and another nice play. So Loretta does his job and then some, and Humberto Quintero grounded to third, checking in. Dodgers 2 runs, 4 hits. Astros no runs, 2 hits. That's a strike. Quintero, I don't think, thought it was a strike, but he's not going to argue with Mike DeMuro. Mike DeMuro behind the plate over 10 years. Major League umpire. His father, you may remember, Lou DeMuro. He umpired in the American League for about 20 years. And you see that number 16 on the shirt of Mike DeMuro? Sure, that was his dad's number during his entire career. Went to the University of San Diego and graduated with a degree in communications. Mike DeMuro. 0-2. Ground ball to Blake. He'll go down to Hudson. Orlando will turn it. No runs, no hits, nobody left. And at the end of 4.5 innings, 2-0 Dodgers. 2 in the first inning for Call's single allowed. Hudson hit a line drive to left for a base hit, and Carlos Lee tried to backhand and go into a slide to one-hop it, and it went for a triple. For Call scored. Hudson then came home on a base hit by Matt Kemp, and that's it. Mike Hampton has had 14 of 15 first pitch strikes. See what he does with Martin. Starts him low, ball 1, 1-0. Russell Martin single to left field in the second inning. Dodgers 2, Astros nothing in the 5th. Off the plate, 2-0. Waiting on deck, but batting 9th is Juan Pierre. Clayton Kershaw is now in the on-deck circle. Little roller up along third. Very tough play. They let it roll foul. Heads up play by Jeff Keppinger. Last night, you may remember, Jeff Blum hit a little dribbler up along third. Blake made the smart play, let the ball decide the issue, but the ball hit the bag for a base hit. So sometimes you win one, sometimes you lose one. Good call by Jeff. 2-1 the count on Martin. Russ Ortiz. He'll go up against Hiroki Kuroda tomorrow. Then the Reds come in, followed by the Florida Marlins. Dodgers have a rough road trip. St. Louis and Atlanta. Fouled away. Maybe the toughest thing about the road trip. The Dodgers have a night game in Atlanta on Sunday night. Fly all the way back to Los Angeles to play Monday night against Milwaukee. Two and two to Martin. Got him on that hard slider. Fastball that just seemed to jump at the last minute. It was clocked at 85, so it's not one of those outstanding fastballs, but watch, it just dives in, and down goes Martin. For Hampton, that would be his 4th strikeout. And the batter Clayton Kershaw tried to bunt and struck out last at bat. That's going to go foul down the line. 0-1 to Clayton. Kershaw has 4 hits. He's had about 37 plate appearances, and he has struck out 7 times. About 20%. Very good for a pitcher. 0-1 to Clayton. And another strike. Hampton is due to lead off in the 6th inning, followed by Matsui and then Keppinger, and if anybody gets on, Miguel Tejada. Big roundhouse curveball, but nothing happened with it. 1-2 the count. Ground ball to Tejada. 2 down. Maybe you remember. I don't remember the details, but in just trying to flesh out Mike Hampton and his career and what kind of a man he is. He's from Florida, and I guess it was a year ago. I don't think much more than that. A little girl was missing. Remember that in Florida? And Hampton put up a bunch of money to try and get her back. A lot of money. Just another insightful look at a fella out there wearing a baseball uniform. That's right. Pierre hit into a double play, which kind of shocks you a little bit. It was the 7th time he's hit into a double play this year. But you want to talk about someone who doesn't hit into DPs, check Michael Bourne. Bourne, the fleet-footed center fielder for the Houston Astros, has had, as he talks to Jose Cruz, Michael Bourne has had like 350 some odd at bats. He's been in 89 games. He has grounded into 1 double play. Pop fly angling out is Matsui, and that will be that. So Hampton pitching very well. He's retired 11 in a row, but he's still down 2-0. 1957, Gil Hodges hit a grand slam home run to beat the Cardinals 10-9. It was his 12th. He wound up hitting 14. Willie McCovey, as a National Leaguer, had 18 grand slams in his career. The record, Lou Gehrig of the Yankees hit 23. With that, let's get back to this one. Two to nothing in favor of the Astros. Actually, as we check in, 2-0 Dodgers, and the Astros hitting here in the 6th. Mike Hampton with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Clayton Kershaw made 78 pitches going into the 6th. Fouled away. The boys down in the truck have a far better memory than I have in details. We were talking about Mike Hampton and how I remembered only the fact that there was a missing child in Florida, and he put up money as a reward to get her back. Little dribbler off the foot of Kershaw, picks it up, throws, and gets him. Anyway, to finish the story, Mike Hampton put up $25,000 of his own money. Didn't know the girl, I don't believe, but tried to help them get her back. I'll tell you one thing, a few years ago he would have legged that out easily. He ran as fast as anybody, but that was 10 years ago. Now it's all uphill. So Kazuo Matsui following Hampton to the plate. Still 2-0 Dodgers. Matsui grounded to short, struck out 0 for 2. Ball 1. Eight-game hitting streak on the line. And promptly drives it to left. Ramirez goes back and picks it off. 2 down in the 6th inning, and the batter will be Jeff Keppinger.
Next, third baseman, number 28, Jeff Keppinger.
Kershaw, who has been brilliant of late, and it's a word you don't like to hang on pitchers very often, but he not only has won each of his last 5 road starts, he's unbeaten in his last 6. He's gone 4-0 with 2 no decisions and an earned run average of less than 1. And here he is tonight, holding the Astros to 2 hits for 5 2/3 innings. Keppinger singled, grounded to third. And a little fly ball. Here comes Pierre. Down go the Astros, and at the end of 5 1/2, 2-0 Dodgers. After Furcal singled, the fly ball lands in front of Carlos Lee. Instead of playing it on a bounce, he played a single into a triple. Furcal scored. Hudson then was picked up later on, and that's it. It's 2-0 Dodgers, set up on the misplay by Carlos Lee. No error. Just made a routine single into a triple. For the Dodgers, top of the order for Furcal, Hudson, and Ramirez. Ball one of the rare times that Hampton has not gotten that first pitch for a strike. 1-0 to Rafael. Had a very big month of July. And hits a fly ball to center. Going back is Michael. I think Jason's instinct on his first move was to come in. Then he realized that ball was hit a lot harder than he thought. One away. Orlando Hudson has had 2 presents given to him by the Astros, a triple last night and a triple tonight. Last time up, he grounded out. Orlando hitting .291. One ball and 1 strike. Every time I see Orlando Hudson, I think of a Sammy Davis song, The Candy Man. I mean, he is just a delight to be around. Two and 1 to count to Orlando. .291 batting average, 7 home runs, 49 runs batted in. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. So Orlando goes 2 for 3 as he slowly but surely builds his batting average back up again. So Manny Ramirez coming up. Manny 0 for 2 tonight. 0 for 4 last night. That's 0 for 6. And 1 for 4 Friday night. So he is 1 for 10 in the series. Manny hitting .336. 9 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Ball 1. Hudson is 6 for 6 in stolen bases. That's ball 2. Hampton, and we haven't seen him in 5 years, but Hampton used to have a tremendous move to first base. So Hudson a pretty short lead. And 3-0. 1 out, 1 on, 6th inning, 2-0 Dodgers. Casey Blake waiting on deck. Hampton made 66 pitches through 5 innings, so he's not worked hard. 3-0 to Manning. That's right. Certainly nothing automatic. Manny taking 3-0, so that was a slider. 3-1. And that's going to go down the left field line. Base hit. Hudson is around second, on his way to third. Ball will stop him there. And into second base with the double goes Manning. Got a ball up and out over the plate. That was a dangerous pitch, and he paid for it as Manny hooks the double into left field. And with first base open, the batter is Casey Blake, followed by Matt Kemp. For Manny Ramirez coming up with that double, that would be his 12th. 519 doubles to go with all those home runs. So that means the right side of the infield is up, but they're going to walk Casey Blake intentionally for the second time tonight. They walked him intentionally in the first inning. So Matt Kemp will be coming up with the bases loaded and 1 out. Cecil Cooper was a remarkable player in his day. 18 years in the big leagues. And he wants Dewey Robinson to check in with the bullpen. So in a minute, Matt Kemp with 1 out and the bases loaded. In case you wonder, Kemp has 4 career grand slams, 3 of them this year. The last one was in Milwaukee against Carlos Villanueva in an extra inning game. So here comes Matt with the bases loaded. Jeff Fulcino begins to loosen up. Right-hander down in the bullpen. And now Dewey Robinson, the pitching coach, is not going to come out. Cecil Cooper, the skipper, comes out. Cooper, among other things, and he deserved the honors, holding court with Mike Hampton. Coop was inducted into the Wisconsin Hall of Fame. He had a brilliant career. 11 years with Milwaukee, 2 Gold Gloves, 5 All-Stars, over 200 home runs, over 2,000 hits. I mean, he could flat out play. So he has talked to Hampton. Now takes a seat, and Matt Kemp coming up. Dodgers lead 2-0 with a chance to break it open a bit. Kemp single to left and grounded to short. The infield is back in double play depth. And in case you wonder, Kemp has grounded into 7 double plays. A strike. Matt hitting .317. 11 home runs, 51 runs batted in. Off the plate, 1-1. Orlando Hudson down the line from third. Manny Ramirez at second. Casey Blake at first. 1 out. 2-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the 6th. Fouled away. One and 2 to Matt. Foul back. Hampton has 4 strikeouts. One of them was Kershaw trying to bunt. So he's not overpowering people. A lot of sliders, couple of changes here and there, mix in a curve, try to spot a fastball. One and 2 to Kemp. Fastball hit down to short, and the play will be to third. Scoring is Hudson, and the Dodgers lead 3-0. So Manny Ramirez is forced at third as Hudson brings the run home on a 6-5 force play. A run batted in for Kemp. And with runners at first and second, Mark Loretta coming up. The heads-up play by Tejada. He had no play at second. But of course, Tejada's been playing this game a long time. And he took the one play he had, going to third for the force. So now here's Loretta. Ball 1 to Mark. Loretta struck out in the first inning, flied to right field in the fourth. Punched the clock for Houston in 0-2 and 07 and 8. That's a strike. 1-1 the count. So Rafael Furcal, Manny Ramirez sitting back in the quiet of the dugout. Dodgers leading 3-0. That's a strike. Loretta briefly with the Astros in 0-2. Part of that year he was with the Brewers. One and 2. Fastball. So Hampton's going to be 37 and Loretta will be 38. The two fellas have been playing this game a long time. Hampton started in the minor leagues in 1990. Loretta started in 1993. 1 and 2. Fouled away. Casey Blake out there at second base. Matt Kemp at first. A run in, 3 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits for the Astros. 1 and 2. Fastball lined into left field. Base hit. Here comes Blake. Throw to the plate is not in time. Down to third goes Kemp, and the Dodgers lead 4-0. The ball gets away at home plate. I believe time had been called, and they will send Matt Kemp back to third base maybe. The Dodgers are going to argue that there was no time, and apparently there was no time. Now the Humberto Quintero is arguing. Cecil Cooper will come out. Mike DeMuro, the plate umpire, is saying the play was continuous. I didn't call time. And so Matt Kemp Matt Kemp just keeps on coming in. Take a look. They give the ball to Mike Hampton trying to throw it in his glove, and Mike threw it away. So the ball was still live, and the Dodgers get yet another run. Boy, that is a killer. And Cooper said, my man's had enough. When he throws the ball and misses his own glove and gives the Dodgers another run, it's time to hook him. So Hampton comes out with the Dodgers leading 5-0. And the last run was a crusher, but of course the first two in the first inning hurt Hampton as well. And we'll be back. We say if you're around this game long enough, you're going to see something you had never seen before, and I've certainly never seen that, where Hampton is so angry he's going to throw the ball and he misses his own glove. Matt Kemp at third wasn't sure, and then he thought, well, I have nothing to lose, why not come in? So Hampton maybe threw himself a slider, but that's a first, and he will be charged with an error. That's something when you throw the ball away, throwing it to yourself. All right, if it's going to happen, it'll happen in a Dodger game, Mike. So the Dodgers get a big 3, and at the end of 6 lead 5-0. Talk about a young pitcher coming of age. Look at those numbers. 6 scoreless innings tonight, just allowing 2 hits. His last 7 starts, an earned run average of .6. He's won 4 straight. He's had 2 no decisions, and he's leading 5-0 tonight as we go to the 7th inning. And Clayton can learn from Mike Hampton. When you get angry in this game, you're liable to hurt your own cause. And Mike, for one split second, so frustrated, trying to slam the ball into his glove and missed, and draws an error. If that isn't the oddest error you've seen, I'd love to hear about one that is odder. Missed his glove from inches. Meanwhile, James Loney takes over for Mark Loretta. And we go to the 7th. Tejada, Lee, and Pence in that order. And that's ball 1. Tejada fouled out and singled. The Astros, trying to catch the Cardinals, certainly have their hands full the last 10 weeks of the season. From July 27th to August 20th, Cecil Cooper's Cub will play in order 4 games in Wrigley, 3 games in St. Louis, a home series with the Giants and the Brewers, and 4 road games at Florida and 3 in Milwaukee. That will be a really rough patch in the schedule for Cooper and the Astros. Fouled away. Miguel Tejada, hoping to stay healthy, has been working exceptionally hard so that he can answer the bell every day. He and Ivan Rodriguez, 2 veterans, and he's 35. And down he goes. So Tejada strikes out, opening up the 7th. Kershaw has struck out 4. And Tejada going after what appeared to be a bad ball out of the zone. 1 away. Carlos Lee popped up and drilled one right at Casey Blake last at bat. Foul back. 0-1. Started out to be a bad night for the Astros when Carlos tried to make a very awkward backhanded sliding short hop catch of a single and played it into a triple. That meant 2 runs. And from there it went to Mike Hampton attempting to slam the ball into his glove and missing his glove. 1-1. 2-1. Coming into the inning, Kershaw had made 78 pitches. Down in the pen, James McDonald begins to throw back of him. And that's pop foul and out of play. 2-2. Lee batting .306, 13 home runs, 49 runs batted in. The Reds will be here starting Monday night. Jason Schmidt will return to start against the Reds on Monday. Another foul ball. Wednesday night the Reds will be here. It is Manny Ramirez bobblehead night, and the Dodgers want you to know that that game Wednesday night, that game is sold out. Save you the inconvenience of coming to the ballpark if you don't have a ticket, young or old. So if you don't, Monday night with Schmidt, Tuesday night with the Reds, and then Manny's bobblehead Wednesday night. 3-2. Fastball, another line drive right at Casey Blake. Oh, Carlos Lee has scorched 2, and he's 0 for 3. And for Casey Blake, he's been at the other end of 2 BBs. Tough 0 for 3 for Lee. Tough night for Lee. And the batter will be Pence. Hunter has flied to left, struck out 0 for 2. They check, no swing, says Casey Moser. Hunter batting .297, 11 home runs, 39 runs batted in. Foul back. Dodgers scored 2 in the first and then 3 in the sixth. Two and one. Kershaw trying to make his record 8-5. Boy, that good fastball right on the corner at the knees. And a breaking ball. Oh. So from a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, he comes up with public enemy number 1. The overhand curve. Casey Blake has a hot hand, and the Dodgers lead 5-0. Crowd asked now to stand, sing God Bless America. Carlos Lee is in any mood after a couple of line drive outs, and then the crowd will sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Bottom of the 7th, and Blake DeWitt will now bat for Clayton Kershaw. So it's DeWitt, Pierre, and Furcal in that order against Fulcino. Jeff Fulcino who was originally drafted out of the University of Connecticut by the Marlins, and a 1-ball 1-strike count on Blake DeWitt. So Clayton Kershaw, a brilliant 7 innings, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 103 pitches, on his way to his 5th straight win, plus a couple of no decisions. That's a strike to DeWitt. 1-2 the count. For Kershaw, tonight ties his career high with those 7 innings. One and two. Off the plate. Fulchino, big fella, 6'5", about 250. He'll be 30 in November. Made it to the big leagues briefly with the Marlins for just 1 game. High fly ball to Hunter Pence. So Blake DeWitt, the up and down man, and of course with Jason Schmidt being announced as Monday's pitcher, you wonder how the Dodgers will make room for Schmidt. And does that mean DeWitt goes back again? You probably set a record going up and down. So 1 away, and Juan Pierre the batter. Pierre hit into a double play and popped up 0 for 2. Two and 0 the count. Pierre hitting .320. That's a strike. Basically fastball and slider. That's the book on Fulchino. Had 1 game with the Marlins, went back down to the minors last year, came up and was in 14 games with the Royals, and then came over to the Astros. Bouncer over the mound, tough play, barehanded by Tejada to get him. Oh, nice play. Miguel Tejada takes a hit away from Juan Pierre. A bare hand pickup and throw. So 2 down in the 7th inning. And the batter will be Rafael Furcal, who singled, flied to center twice. Big play by Miguel. Dodgers have allowed the Astros just 2 hits. Tejada has 1 and Keppinger the other, and that's it. Kershaw was so effective in his 7 innings. Did not allow a runner to second base. One and one. Rafael turning around to hit left-handed. Overall average 255. Hitting .257 left. Little ground ball to Tejada. Throws on the run, and a nice pick by Coast at first base. So the Dodgers go out in order, and at the end of 7, 5-0 Dodgers. with the AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. We're going to the 8th inning. It's 5-0 in favor of the Dodgers. For the Astros, they have been shut out 7 times this year and 5 times on the road. And James McDonald now comes in out of the pen to pick up for Clayton Kershaw, who had a brilliant 7 innings. James McDonald is 24. He'll be 25 the middle of October. And a strike to Chris Coast. McDonald, born in Long Beach, went to Golden West Community College. 0-2, 95-mile-an-hour fastball. It just seemed like it was effortlessly thrown. And a drive to the gap in left center, and that's going to fall. Pierre will cut it off, and Coase keeps on going and makes it. Kind of a gamble late in the game when you're down 5-0, but Chris decided to roll the dice and made the play. And the batter will be Jason Michaels. 5 runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 3 hits for the Astros. Michaels the batter, and Darren Erstad comes out on deck to bat for Quintero. That took the mask right off Martin's head. 0-1 to count. Dodgers scored 2 in the first and 3 in the 6th. One and one. Thinking back to that 1 in a million when Mike Hampton was going to angrily slam the ball into his glove and missed his glove for an error. You know, Mike's control was perfect tonight. Oh yes, he walked Blake twice, but they were both intentionally granted. So with perfect control, he missed his own glove. Put that one in your book. 1-2 the count. And that's in the dirt, goes all the way to the backstop. Martin has no idea where it went, but McDonald points. So on the wild pitch, Chris Coast advances to third. So in 7 innings, the Astros did not have a runner at second. Now in the 8th inning, they have a double and a wild pitch to put a runner at third, and a somewhat stunned Russell Martin taking that curveball bouncing into his mask. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Ramon Troncoso and the left-hander Brent Leach. Foul back. James McDonald has pitched very well. Scoreless relief in 11 of his last 13 appearances. Earned run average of 1 as a reliever. 2-2. In the dirt, but not far enough for the runner to advance again. So Coast doubled, reaches third on a wild pitch. 5-0 Dodgers in the 8th. 3-2 to Jason Michaels, who is lined out and fouled out. And he probably hits it into left field for a base hit. So Coast scores, and the Dodger lead is 5-1. The Michaels base hit, run batted in. The Honeycutt on the phone to the bullpen as McDonald has bounced a couple, given up a double, a single, and a wild pitch. And James now will be facing Darren Erstad.
Your attention, please, with the Astros. Pitch hitting is 0, number 2, Darren Erstad.
McDonald pitched Sunday in Milwaukee, so he's gone a week. Darren Erstad hitting .176. Played first base last night, went 2 for 5. Finished up and hit back to the box in the first game, and now here comes Joe Torre. So McDonald looks like he's going to get a quick hook after facing just 2 batters. So Torre celebrating his 69th birthday, making his way to the mound. They will go to the pen, and it looks like Brent Leach. We'll see whether Erstad stays in or not. Yep, here comes Brent, and we'll be back. Dodgers lead 5-1. We're in the 8th inning. Nobody out. Darren Erstad will be facing Brent Leach. Monday night will be most interesting as Jason Schmidt, who has made 6 starts in about 3 years, will go to the mound against Cincinnati. A veteran with 128 career wins, and the Dodgers look to Jason. We understand he might be on a pitch count up to 100 pitches. So that'll be quite a beginning to the Cincinnati series. But the Dodgers have their hands full with the Astros. Brent Leach facing Darren Erstad. Nobody out. Michaels at first. And that got away, and down to second base goes Michaels. So Erstad missed it. Martin couldn't catch it. And we'll assume that'll be another wild pitch. Yeah, it's in the dirt. Looked like Russell did everything correctly and still couldn't corral it. And sure enough, wild pitch. Well, Michaels at second, nobody out. 0-1 the count to Darren Erstad. And that's in the dirt on a check swing. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeff Blum is on deck, and he's a switch hitter. Erstad, against left-hand pitching, is hitting .111. In his career, he held his own. Not so much now. Check. 2-1 to count. Darren Erstad came up to the Angels way back in 1996, and in 2000 hit .355 with 240 hits. A lot tougher for him now, of course. And he probably bangs it up the middle. Pierre, it kicks the ball. So stopping at third was Michaels, and now he comes in. Dave Clark had stopped Michaels. He was not gonna let him come in, and then Juan, in his haste to come up and get a throw off, lets it get away. Though we assume it'll be a base hit and an error, because Michaels had stopped and was then waved in. Meanwhile, Erstad going to first, and they want to check on him. So it's 5-2 in favor of the Dodgers. Cecil Cooper wants to find out about Erstad. And Erstad apparently hurting himself, gets a base hit. It will be a single and an error, and that's a good call. Michaels would not have scored except for the error, and then Erstad hustling down the line. Erstad is 35. He's looking at the play, seems to be running well, then hits the bag and grabs his left thigh, and that would appear to be a hamstring. So Michael Bourne, the speedster, will run for him. Michael Bourne has stolen 32 out of 40, and he'll run now for Erstad. So they lose Erstad with a hammy, and Bourne now coming in. Nobody out, 2 runs over. Dodgers lead 5-2, and the batter is Jeff Blum. So the hit is charged to Leach. The run is charged to McDonald. Jeff Blum, a switch hitter, hitting .283. Right-handed, hitting .400. Bourne hesitated before getting back to the bag. I think he thought that was awfully close for a balk. Casey Moser, the first base umpire, said no, but he's convinced it was a balk. .1 to Blum. Jeff been hitting .400 against left-hand pitching, but he's only had 20 at-bats. Hitting left-handed, he has a .270 batting average. He'd been red hot in July. Check swing, that'll cost a strike. Blum in July hitting .372. He's had 3 walk-off hits this year. In the dirt, boy, they have kept Martin busy, especially in this inning. McDonald a wild pitch. Then Leach a wild pitch. 2 runs over. And the Dodger lead is 5-2. Got him inside corner, and Blum is unhappy about it. Oh yeah, fertilizer, says Blum. Fertilizer, says Blum. Fertilizer, you could grow a row of vegetables. And Blum goes back to the dugout. Cecil Cooper trying to save him. Here's the pitch. And you can see Martin trying to frame it. And DeMuro went with the frame, and of course Blum was livid. So now Brent Leach will come out, another switch hitter, Kazuo Matsui. So the Dodgers bring in Troncoso, and we'll be back.
Your attention.
Watch what happens to Mike Hampton. He gets a new ball after giving up a hit, slams it and misses his glove. Matt Kemp is standing at third and said, well, I'll come home unless they tell me it doesn't count. And he scored. It was Mark Loretta who had gotten the base hit that upset Hampton in the first place. And would that be something if the Astros lose by 1 run? And Cecil Cooper will remember that for the rest of his time as a manager. So here's Kazuo Matsui. Michael Bourne at first. 1 out, 2 runs in. And the Dodgers trying to hold on to a 5-2 lead. Troncoso, who has been a workhorse and a great ERA, 1.7. That's a strike. 1-1. Troncoso pitched in Milwaukee on Sunday. Basically sinker ball pitcher. Matsui 0 for 3 has an 8-game hitting streak. Grounded to short, struck out, fly to left. If you were with us in the first inning, you may remember Matsui leading off made Kershaw work. It was a 9-pitch at bat, but Clayton got it. There goes Bourne. The pitch is a strike, and the throw on a hop is too late, and Furcal thought he had him. So Michael Bourne has stolen 33 out of 41. There he goes, straight steal. The throw on a hop and the tag on the hip, and by that time the foot was on the bag. Right there. And right there, the veteran and the crew chief, Dale Scott, to call it. So Bourne at second, still 1 out. And 2-2 the count to Matsui. Kazuo with 3 home runs, 22 runs batted in. We've had a double, 2 singles, 2 wild pitches, an error, and a stolen base. 2-2. And ball 3. On deck, Jeff Keppinger. Troncoso, who has certainly been a workhorse in 42 games. Belisario was in 43, and of course he went out with the inflamed elbow. And Troncoso has pitched more innings. Just about 57 innings. 3-2 to Matsui. And a hopper to Orlando. That's the second out. Bourne takes third. And the batter will be Keppinger. So Matsui fails to pick him up, advances him to third. And Keppinger single, grounded to third, fly to center. And he's that rare hitter, as we've mentioned, who walks more than he strikes out. Strike inside corner with the sinker. I don't think Keppinger was happy about the call, but not as unhappy as Jeff Blum was. And now Keppinger in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Keppinger is 1 for 6 with a walk in the series. And of course, his is a most important at bat because Miguel Tejada is on deck. Did he? They'll check. No, he didn't, says Moser. 1-2 the count. So the Dodgers can't believe that that was not a strike. 1-2 the count. Keppinger trying to get Tejada up there because he would represent the tying run. Two and two. Tejada, by the way, is 1 for 3. Fouled out, single, struck out. They would love to get the shortstop up there with men on rather than have him lead off the 9th inning. So this is a huge at bat for Jeff Keppinger and the Astros. Fouled away. Keppinger hitting only .233 against right-handers, .328 against left-handers, which is why he started against Clayton Kershaw. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled away again. So in the inning, Coast doubled, wild pitch to third. Michaels singled him home. That was all for McDonald. Erstad batted for Quintero and singled. Pierre made an error trying to come up with the ball and throw. That allowed Michaels to score. Bourne ran for Erstad, who hurt his hamstring. Stole second, and he's at third with 2 out. 2-2 to Keppinger. And a ground ball, backhanded kick, picked up, thrown, and in time to get him anyway. And the Astro bench is furious. And Cecil Cooper will come out and argue with first base umpire Casey Moser. And Cooper's gone. Casey Moser, the first base umpire, didn't take much from Coop before he kicks him out. The Astros settle for 2, and you can understand their frustration as we take another look. Watch the foot, watch the ball. There's the foot, and the ball is not in the glove. So for Casey Moser, tough call and the wrong one. 5-2 Dodgers. Chris Coast is now behind the plate, taking over for Quintero. Jeff Blum, who batted for Fulcino, stays in and plays first base. And Wesley Wright, a left-hander, on the mound. A huge play at first base. And by the way, we are not showing you the play involving Keppinger at first to embarrass the umpire at all. If anything, you realize how tough some of the calls can be, and that was an extremely difficult one. Here's the real speed play. It's going to be bobbled, picked up, thrown, bang, bang, call it. I mean, there's no second time. Bang, bang. Now we show it to you, sir, with high-powered slow-motion camera. And all that does is show you again with super slow-mo. Look at this. There's the foot on the bag. The ball is not in the glove yet. So we only call it to let you know how tough some of these calls are. And I would say over the years, the umpires have been at least 95% correct. But that was a killer for the Astros. Line drive, base hit. Orlando Hudson's third hit. For Cecil Cooper and the Astros, naturally they're saying Keppinger should have been safe and Miguel Tejada would have been coming up as the tying run. The timeout, and we will see now if Romero is going to come out as the acting manager and lift Wesley Wright. Wright is out of Alabama and was originally drafted by the Dodgers back in 2003. Made the usual stops, Vero Beach, Jacksonville, and Vegas, and then wound up with the Astros last year. We'll be back. Watch Coop now. Yes, safe, safe, safe. No, he's going to be called out, Coop. Oh, no. Coop comes out, argues, and he got kicked out immediately. Albert Arias will come in. He would be making his second appearance. He pitched briefly in game 1 in the 7th inning. Alberto ready to pitch to Manny Ramirez. So Orlando Hudson with a 3-hit game. Manny is 1 for 3. Starts him breaking ball for a strike. 0-1. Arias is from the Dominican, from Santo Domingo. And another breaking ball, strike 2. Arias spent about 8 years in the minor leagues before coming up last year briefly. 1-2. Basically curve, fastball, change, but the best pitch is the breaking ball. 5'11" and 150 pounds. Another breaking ball. 2-2. Arias was originally signed by the Rockies and made it to Colorado in 07 and again in 08. And he was claimed off waivers by the Astros. 2-2. Hudson at first. Nobody out in the 8th. One breaking ball after another, and he goes 3-2 to Manny Ramirez. I think he thought he had the strike. Fastball and a little fly ball. But Jason Michaels makes the catch. So after 5 breaking balls, he gives him a 3-2 fastball, and Manny couldn't get around on it. 1 away. Casey Blake walked twice intentionally and struck out. When the Astros come up in the 9th inning, they'll have Miguel Tejada, Carlos Lee, and Hunter Pence. They've already used Darren Erstad. They used Bourne as a runner. Jason Michaels will not come up unless they have a big inning, and Jonathan Broxton throwing in the pen. They've used Blum. Fastball for a strike. Casey hitting .284, 12 home runs, 55 runs batted in. Remember, the Dodgers lost the first 2 games of the series, and they are still the only major league team that has not lost 3 in a row. And on Joe's birthday, they're leading 5-2 in the 8th. One and two. Boy, I'll tell you one thing. They talk about it's his curveball being his best pitch. That is bread and butter for him. Alberto Arias, 25 years old, 5'11", 150, 155 at best. Fastball. And he hit 94 according to the gun. One out. Hudson at first. Matt Kemp on deck. Hudson is 6 for 6 in stolen bases. Held on by Jeff Blum. I was just thinking, remember when Jeff Blum was called out on strikes and he kept calling fertilizer to the plate umpire, Mike DeMuro? He said it at least 3 times, and I guess you can accept that. Whatever Cooper said, I mean, he was history immediately. So down goes Casey, 2 out in the 8th inning. You know, Dodgertown now has a home with its very own zip code, 90090, and in celebration, Dodgers are offering $90,099 seats, including games with the Astros and the Reds coming up. So visit Dodgers.com/eSavers and enter the promo code Kemp27, who happens to approach the plate. 5-2 Dodgers, 2 out. Hudson a threat to go, bluffs, and a strike. Remember, Chris Coast has been playing first base all night. Now he's behind the plate. The title of his book, Hey, I'm Only the Catcher. Well, that's where he is now. 5 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers, 2 runs, 5 hits for the Astros. Off speed, 1-1. Giants lost 2-0, so the Dodgers can get back to a 7.5 game lead. Matt hitting .316. 11 home runs, 52 runs batted in, 1 for 3 tonight, and scored on a memorable play, thoroughly forgettable, for Mike Hampton. 1-2 the count to Mike. Matt standing at third saw Hampton slam the ball supposedly into his glove, and it got away. Mark Loretta let out a holler at first. Kemp came home with a big run. And in there, a slow breaking ball in the 60s. So no runs, 1 hit, and Jonathan Broxton will be brought in to save a 5-2 lead. Ninth inning, Jonathan Broxton comes in along with Andre Ethier. So the Dodgers rearrange the outfield. Ethier takes over in right. Matt Kemp, who had been in right, moves to center. And Juan Pierre, who had been in center, moves to left. So Jonathan Broxton will now pick up. And Big John will face the heart of the Astro lineup, Tejada, Lee, and Pence. But of course, the big guy is not in the lineup, and that's Lance Berkman. Berkman with 18 home runs, 55 runs batted in, out with the sprained left calf. Walking around, putting batting gloves on. So it might be one of those things where with 2 out, if he has a shot where he will not have to run hard, we might still see him. Tejada will lead off, which is a heck of a lot different than coming up as the tying run in the 8th inning. Ball 1. Looking at Broxton and Tejada. Tejada is 2 for 3 against him in the past. Then Lee, who is Lee is 3 for 4 against him. So 2 big problems. 2-0. So all 3 hitters are hitting a ton against Broxton. Tejada 2 for 3, Lee 3 for 4, Pence 1 for 3. That's a strike. John bothered by a bad toe. Then they said it was a nerve in his foot, but he is well rested. In save opportunities, he is 9 for 9 here at Dodger Stadium. Three and 1 the count to Tejada. Jonathan, 8th in the league with 20 saves, 24-22 overall. The opposition is hitting 149 against him. And ball 4. So Tejada at 5'9", tough man to pitch to anyway, and he draws a walk. So now Carlos Lee, who has stung 2, but right at Casey Blake. Joe Torre talking to his coaches, Bob Schaefer, Rick Honeycutt. So Lee is a very tough 0 for 3 tonight. And a strike. Lee would love to atone for his misplay in the first inning when he played a single by Hudson into a triple. That meant 2 runs. 0-1. And a hopper flagged by Furcal, but the ball is off his glove. He throws late to second, and just like that, the Astros have 2 on, nobody out, and Hunter Pence coming up. Great effort by Rafael Furcal. And he might have hurt his elbow a little bit, lunging, landed hard. That'll be a base hit. So first and second, nobody out on a walk and a single. Yeah, he had to hurt that arm a little. So Hunter Pence is coming up. Pence has flied to left and struck out twice. Hunter batting .296, 11 home runs, 39 runs batted in. So Pence, possible tying run at the plate. And ball 1. Remember, Broxton did not pitch in the All-Star game. So Jonathan pitched Friday in Milwaukee. So he's got to be rusty. Two on, nobody out. That's a strike. 1-1. On deck, Chris Coast. And as we said, down in the dugout, Lance Berkman put on batting gloves. So we'll have to keep an eye over there. And he's looking for a helmet, so we're going to see him. 1-1. Fouled upstairs off to the right. 1-2. Just to give you something to think about in advance, Berkman is 1 for 3 in the past against Broxton. 5-2 Dodgers, ninth inning. Astros trying to get off the floor. Scored 2 in the 8th. 1-2 to Hunter Pence. And that looked like a hard slider down and away. And it was at about 88. So Pence strikes out a 3rd time tonight. And that thing just explodes down and just off the plate. So now 1 away. And Chris Coast is the batter with Jason Michaels on deck. After Michaels comes Arias, the pitcher. The question of whether they're going to wait that long to get Berkman in there. Coast flied to right, walked, and then doubled against James McDonald in the 8th inning. Chris hitting .245, 2 home runs, 8 runs batted in. And now they're calling Michaels away, and Lance Berkman comes out on deck. That's a strike. So Berkman, who hurt his leg, straining the left calf, came out of Friday night's game, actually Thursday night, didn't play last night. 0-1. Broxton throwing hard, hitting .98. 0-2 to Chris Coast. No balls, 2 strikes. The Broxton was just too much for Chris Coast, that's for sure. And with 2 out, Lance Berkman will now come up as the potential tying run. Jonathan Broxton, with his 2 strikeouts tonight, has 67 strikeouts and 17 walks, plus the 1 tonight. So 67 strikeouts and 18 walks. And the ball game's on the line now as Berkman checking in, representing the possible tying run with his 18 home runs. In the dirt. Nice save by Russell Martin on a slider that was in the high 80s. Boy, the last 2 innings, starting with McDonald and Leach and then Troncoso, Martin has really had some tough pitches to handle. That thing just ate him up. 1 ball and no strikes to Berkman. Berkman, as we said, with Tejada and Lee out there, and he is 1 for 3 in the past against Broxton. And ball 2. Pudge Rodriguez, who had a big night last night, 3 singles and a home run. He went 4 for 5. He's on deck. Two and 0 to Berkman. And ball 3. Three and 0. And ball 4 to load the bases for Pudge Rodriguez. Dodgers, of course, riding the horse, and that's Jonathan Broxton. Rodriguez has never faced Broxton, vice versa. So for the Astros, they've used Erstad, Blum, Bergman, and now Rodriguez. Wandy Rodriguez is going to run at first for Bergman. So Pudge Rodriguez coming off that huge night. 4 for 5. 8 home runs, 32 runs batted in. Pudge, 37 years old. He'll be 38 in November. And ball 1. Rodriguez, in case you're wondering, has 6 grand slams. The last one 2 years ago, he hit against Kansas City. So they're all out there. Tejada, Lee, and Wandy Rodriguez. And ball 2. So Torrey now leaves his perch. He's restless. Joe spent the whole game sitting in the same spot, but it's tough to stay there now. He's just walking around. 2-0. And a strike. So Wandy Rodriguez is at first. Carlos Lee is at second. Miguel Tejada is at third. And 2-1 with Broxton holding a splitter and then making an adjustment in the glove. 2-1. Fouled off. 2-2. Down in the Dodger bullpen, and it would be rare to have somebody relieve Broxton. So Guillermo Mota gets up, and talking about getting up, this crowd of 48,298, they're all up. So the deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 3 on. 5-2 Dodgers, 9th inning. 2-2 to Ivan Rodriguez. Like Takata, he's only 5'9". So Big John struggled a little bit, but he strikes out the side. The Astros lead 3, and the Dodgers hang on to again avoid losing 3 in a row. The only team in the major leagues not to have had a 3-game losing streak, but it was a struggle. Carlos Lee messing up a base hit led to 2 runs in the first inning. Mike Hampton throwing the ball into his glove and missing it. That gave the Dodgers